There we go. Welcome everyone to the first edition of the Control Command series of classes. Here we're going to be going through all the different tools that you can utilize in KW Command to help you grow your business. And as you see on the screen here today, we're going to be talking about social media traffic ads. And another powerful tool in our tool bag, in our toolkit here at KW to help you grow your business. And specifically, we're going to be talking about listings today. A lot of agents, I've been hearing a lot of stuck listing stuff, a lot of nerves and anxiousness around, oh, my listing isn't moving, my listing is stuck on the market. And I just want to start this class by kind of taking us back a few years. If you read the MREA, you'll see that it says that for every one listing you have, you should be able to get two buyers. And that's generally the buyer that buys the listing, whether that's your client or not. But then you can usually find another buyer from the marketing that you can do through the listing. And I want anyone listening to this video, watching this video, I want you to shift your mindset a little bit around not freaking out because your listing is sitting for 45 days, 50 days. It does feel really long when you compare it to the last couple of years. We're here in 2024 right now, but you go back before 2020, and it was really regular for listings to sit on the market for this long. But if you are the listing agent, there's an advantage to that. You have an asset that you can market for your business, an asset that shows that you are currently active in the business, that you are active in a certain area of our state, and it shows that you do business. And that means there's a lot you can do from, well, we'll get into the things you can do. We'll talk a little bit about it here in a moment. But I want us to kind of shift our mindset and not think so much about, oh, my listing is sitting around. But we have to really see that right now, days on market is around 40 days on the market. So it's pretty normal if your listing is sitting in that range. But that also means there's opportunity. There's opportunity to market that home for your business to get more business. And we are going to be specifically talking about ads today. We're going to be thinking first, we'll talk a little bit about leveraging the listings, like I mentioned. We'll talk about social media marketing 101, just a little intro of how I teach agents to start preparing their listings. It's not quite as easy as just toss it in, but you'll see with a little bit of strategic planning, you will be able to create these ads, and you'll actually find that the ad creation, the actual work in Command, is the easy part. It's the easy part of all of this. And so we'll also get into the different ads that you can run in general in the KW Command system. And then we're going to build a traffic ad together. And we'll talk about those differences and when you may want to do one, the other, or possibly both. And so let's start off by talking about how can we leverage listings to get more business. Now, we don't have a ton of people on the call today, but let's just pop out, throw it in the chat, Peter, if you're there. How can we leverage an active listing in general? What are some ways that we can find business from currently listed properties?
Well, open houses, door knocking.
Absolutely. First thing that comes to my mind too is open houses. That's a huge one. That's where we can find a good amount of buyer traffic and people to talk to that are looking to purchase now. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be your listing that they're looking to purchase, but getting into relationship with active buyers in the market is the trick to the open house. That's what we're looking for. Perfect. I love that, Peter. House is another way that we can get business from an active listing. Social media, promoting it on social media, organic social media, right? Posting it to our personal Facebook page, posting it to our Instagram, doing a story about it every other day. Those are all different ways we can organically reach the audience that is our friend list or our follower list inside of those platforms. And beyond there, when you start talking video, you start getting into YouTube, could be a source. You could do TikTok. All of these different platforms offer an opportunity to, at no cost to you, start marketing these listings. A couple other ways that that I know agents are using to find business with their listings. Number one is door knocking. Door knocking that neighborhood with a series of different value propositions for those neighbors, whether it be, did you know that this home just listed at this price, or offering a market statistics there. There are lots of different ways you can go with that conversation, but door knocking is the activity. We can also circle prospect that neighborhood, meaning finding the phone number list of all of those different people that live there, which your title representative may be able to help you out with that. But calling those people and letting them know about the open house, letting them know about the listing, trying to create a conversation that goes into a little bit about the real estate that you do and what you do for those different clients. There are dozens of ways that you can start thinking about this in a different way. That having a listing on the market for more than 2 days, like it was for the last couple of years, it was pretty normal to have a listing only be on the market for 7 days. And we don't have a ton of opportunity to market that listing. But now that listings have extended their days on market a little bit, we will see that we have more opportunity to do that. We can go back and do an open house and do some social media videos, but we can also do paid ads on social media, where the audience that we're trying to attract there is generally not our audience that is our friends list, our followers, because this is shooting out to a geographic area of all kinds of people, not just the ones that are connected to us through those platforms. And so I want us to think about these different ways of how you can leverage these listings to help you get business. Oh, and before we move on to the next slide, I just want to plant that the listings don't necessarily have to be your listings. You do need to get permission to market other agents' listings. Written permission is what the commission requires in Colorado. But that just means an email. That could be an email to an agent in our office that has a listing you'd like to market. And it's very easy. I generally call that agent, and then we follow up with an email to get that written communication requirement taken care of. So don't just think, oh, I don't have any listings, so I don't need to listen to this class. You can still do all the stuff that I've just talked about and what I'm going to talk about on a listing from another agent. So that's perfectly fine too. And it may be where you are at, depending on where you are in your real estate career. So don't forget that this is not just your listing. Even if I say your listing a lot today, I definitely am talking about any listing that you get permission to run marketing for. Just make sure you get that written permission. All right, so let's talk a little bit about social media marketing 101. And this process that you see on the screen, the 3-step process, is all about writing your content, writing the message that is going to go out to people and attract them into your piece of marketing. And it's a simple 3-step, they're not so much steps, but 3 things that you want to think about when you're writing your ads. And this works for your organic social media as well, that will increase your engagement when you start applying these 3 points for your social media posts, for your social media ads. Number 1 is audience. We have to define our audience. If we try and make an ad that tries to grab everyone's attention, you'll end up grabbing no one's attention, because something meant for everyone is really hard for someone to identify with, to want to click on if they don't know it's for them specifically. So define your audience, and the more specific you get, the easier it is to write your content, because now you have a person that you're speaking to in mind. The audience is the first step to really creating good marketing material in general, but especially on social media, because there is so many people on social media. And again, if you try and please all of them, you'll end up attracting none of them. And so be specific with your audience, because the next step, you need to be able to define a pain point in that audience's world. Pain points are things that we know that audience is struggling with, or is a hurdle for those people to get into the home buying process or the home selling process. And so defining your pain point is important, because we can't get people's attention just by saying, hey, I'm here. But we have to say, hey, you over there, hey, first-time home buyer, we know that it's hard to get the money for a down payment. And starting there Mhm. Sorry, y'all, just had a little hello from some agents. Sorry, back to it. Pain points. These are the things that that audience is experiencing and trying to get into that world to understand where they're at, because the next step is the solution that you see, because we're going to present a solution to them that gives them a clear path to get over that pain point. And that solution, the last little piece of solution is you want to build in a call to action in that solution. And so let's look at an example of this. Common audience for social media ads. Oh, we got somebody waiting in the room. Let's get them in. A common audience for social media ads that I see a lot of agents targeting is first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers in a specific area is even better. Greeley first-time home buyers, Thornton first-time home buyers, Aurora. The more you can get specific with your audience, the easier it is to talk to that audience. And then define that pain point. And what's a pain point? What's the main pain point for most first-time home buyers? Down payment, right? It's cost to close, whether it's down payment, closing costs, paying for an inspector, all of those different fees that a lot of people don't have an actual clear picture of the options they have. Most people just think that they have to put down what percent? 20% every time. Thank you, Chris. They are attached to that. And we know that that's only one loan type. One loan type requires a 20% down payment, but there are plenty of loans that are a fifth of that, 3% down, 3.5%, 5%, 10%, 15%. I've even started seeing some 0% down programs for people and some of the down payment assistance and how those work. And so these are the pain points of those are the pain points of that audience. And we just talked about the solutions. The solutions are down payment assistance. The solutions are down payment grants. There are different programs that people may qualify for, and that can be your solution for someone in this situation, that audience that you're trying to attract. Because sometimes we think, oh, is that audience too small? No, there's plenty of people. There's millions of people literally in the Denver metro area, and a good chunk of them are the audience we're talking about, but don't be afraid to run multiple ads to different audiences. You'll see that there's even a function in our system that you can just clone an ad, change some of the criteria of it, and then create something for another audience. Or it could even just be the same audience, but maybe a different geographic area. And because you'll see that the ads that we build in Command, really our targeting is mostly based off of the geographic area that we can set. And then it's just and then it just gets into your, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Alex, you asked a great question in there, and we'll get to that in a moment when we talk a little bit about getting people to fill out the info. We will definitely discuss that when we get to the different ad types. Let's see, where was I? Solutions. Call to action. And so let me give you a little example. I built out a couple of ads to just show you a quick example of what this might look like. These are all just screenshots pulled from the KW Command ad builder. I did use the same picture in all of them. I wasn't going to go through and do a different home for each one, but you can see I used the same format for 3 different audiences with different pain points and being able to offer a solution with a call to action. In the first one over to the left is the one that we just discussed. First-time home buyers, reduce your upfront costs with seller incentives. So not going the down payment assistance route, but we know a lot of sellers are offering incentives to buy right now. What do they call them? 2-1 buy downs, 3-2-1 buy downs, credits. I've seen sellers offering HOA payments for X amount of months for a year. Hey, we'll credit you, a year's worth of HOAs, because that's been a real tough hurdle for a lot of people looking for condos. And you can find those listings. You may have one of those listings that your seller is offering something like that. And this is a great way to get that message out there, because sometimes that stuff gets lost in the private comments and the public comments of our MLS feeds. And so creating a direct ad that's speaking to an audience, telling them, here's why you should click on this ad. We have seller incentives. Check out this beautiful property. Contact us today by clicking learn more. That is what we're going to here, where we're telling them what we want them to do. You can see the middle one is renters. Very similar to the first-time home buyer. Renting gives you that kind of option of, do I buy or do I rent? Is usually a pain point for those people. And there's a little bit behind that, but we can put forth the wording to attract their attention. Renting. I know people who see these ads. I run a lot of ads in my business, and I get a ton of renters, tons and tons of renters. They're long-term follow-up kind of situations, but they can grow your database in a really great way. And they can also become great referral sources for your business. And the last one, another common one that an audience that we attract is veterans. There are some very specific programs for veterans, and you would be appalled at how poorly they are educated around their VA benefits. It is sad how little a lot of those veterans know about how to use their loans, how often they can use their loans with that amazing 0% down benefit that the veterans get. Now, there's lots of rules and things around that, but if veterans are your audience, there is a lot you can do to offer those people help. They have a lot of pain points that are specific to them, and there are a lot of solutions that are specific to them. And so I offer you all these examples to just kind of get you thinking in this process of audience pain point solution. Audience pain point solution. Anytime I write a social media post, anytime I write a social media ad, I always run it through these steps. And I make sure I'm talking to an audience, a specific audience. I'm identifying a pain point in that text, and I'm offering a solution with a call to action around that solution. Because this all sets up what our ad is going to look like and what our ad is going to drive them to. Because the second part of an ad, it always needs somewhere to put that person. So when they click on the ad, whether they submit their information first and then move over to the landing page, the page they land on after the ad. Let's get this person in. Or if it's an ad where they go straight to the page, they don't submit their information, they go straight to the landing page, and then they get to choose whether they put in their information or not. And that's what we'll get into, Alex, around the difference between those ads, but also the value of each of those kinds of ads, because sometimes it's better to run one type, a traffic ad versus a lead generation ad. And then sometimes it's worth it to run both. I'll tell you, when I have a listing, I run both types of ads, a traffic ad and a lead generating ad, because the lead generating ad is going to be getting me database filling people. They're generally long-term follow-ups, high in the funnel of being of starting to the process of buying or selling, usually buying. The traffic ads help with, sorry, y'all. The traffic ads help you drive exposure to that listing, because the traffic ads, they work a little differently in terms of what you're paying for and how many people will see that ad compared to the lead gen ads. And I'll go over some statistics as well over on the next page. But before we move on to the types of ads that we can run, what kind of questions are coming up? Let me check the chat and see if there's any others that came in. Hope I just still see Alex's question. Any questions coming up before we move on?
Well, you said you're going to explain what type of ads.
Mm-hmm.
It could be picture or video.
They can be. So my folks on Zoom, if you didn't hear Chris's question, he asked, can they be picture or video? And the answer is yes, they can be. With video, my advice is keep it short. The system only allows you to bring in a video that I believe is 10 megabytes. And don't quote me on that. I might have to, we'll see when we build the ad if I'm right or if I'm remembering a different number. But the videos need to be short, not just because of the limitation of what command says, but longer videos generally do not perform well.
Yeah.
You honestly get about 3 seconds to grab their attention in a video, and then about another 7 seconds to keep them. And then you have about another 5 to 15 more seconds. So for a total of about 30 seconds before most people move on, no matter how good the video is. It is social media. We are interrupting their scroll time with our ad. And if that video doesn't grab their attention hard enough in the first 3 seconds, they'll probably just keep scrolling. Same thing with your pictures. Your pictures, you want to use pretty pictures. The one that you see on the screen here, I would say is a 5 out of 10. Not the best, not the worst. It has a nice picture, but it doesn't, I would like to be closer to the home. I'd like the home to be more of the focus, where this, if I'm scrolling fast, I see some trees and I move on. It doesn't connect to in the user's head as a home ad, right? It's not going to pause that renter. Maybe they'll see renting and be like, oh, that's me, and then pause, because that will help slow that scroll down, is what the words say up there. And I don't have them in here now, but I definitely recommend putting emojis into your ad text. And when I say ad text, I mean this bit up here. And then you have your headline down here and description that you can also be putting in different emojis or words that attract those people. You can see tired of renting is what I went with in that middle option. Tired of renting is what I went with in that middle option. You can see on the option to the right side, veterans, unlock your next home. I'm speaking directly to the audience and giving them the identification, saying this is for you, to my audience. And just reading a question, Peter asked, choosing 1 or 2 geographic areas will be layered on top of the pain point and call to action. And yes, we don't necessarily have to identify the geographic area in the text, Peter. We can. I think it is helpful, especially in areas that are really specific. Like I mentioned, Greeley. Greeley would be a great place to do that, because running an ad up there, there's not a lot of other things around Greeley, and the towns that are around there, people identify Greeley. I'm in kind of the Greeley metro area, which is a little bit of an exaggeration. I don't know if we'd call it a metro area up there, but when you consider Denver, Denver County proper is pretty small comparatively. But when we just say Denver as the Denver metro area, usually I might put in something if it's a very highlighted neighborhood or something that's attractive. But if there's not necessarily a geographic option or a geographic call out that will shout at people a little bit to say this is for you, the geographic targeting is actually just done in the creation of the ad. And so, like I said, we'll see that when we build the ad a little bit later. So inside of Command, there is 14 different blueprints for ads, and all the blueprint is a setup to make sure that your ad is targeting and performing the way that you want it to. And it's very clear when you see all the options, which is which, but you may not know exactly what's going on. And so let's talk about the 14 options that are presented to you here. And when you go into Command, the page looks a lot like all these options. These are all the different options we have to run ads inside of Command. And I want you all to just take a look at the screen here for a moment and kind of just peruse the bold text that is here. So non-listing, multi-listing, listing. Then you want to look at the words below it in the regular text. This one is listing, multi-image carousel. Multi-listing, multi-image carousel, non-listing, single image or video, non-listing, multi-image carousel. They all kind of sound the same a little bit if you read them too fast. So take your time here. Now you'll also notice that on all of these different blueprints, there is a little bar here that labels the ad as either a traffic ad or a lead generating ad. The lead generating ad say includes Facebook lead form. All of these that have the blue bar below it, and then there's TikTok down here as well, includes TikTok lead form. All of these blue ones, those are the lead generating ads, meaning those are the ads that when a user clicks on the ad, they have to submit their information to move to the landing page. If they don't submit their information, they do not get to go to the landing page. They just get sent right back to Facebook, and then they keep their scroll going. And so if you are looking for people's contact information to be added to your command, people to talk to that day, you're going to want to run a Facebook lead generation or not just Facebook, excuse me, a lead generating ad. Because you'll notice we have ones that run on Facebook and Instagram. You see the platforms they run on in the little pictures up here on each ad. So most of these Facebook lead form ads are all Facebook and Instagram. You do not have to have a Instagram business page or anything like that. You don't even have to have an Instagram for the ads to run on there. It will just create the ads and put them on the platform, even if you don't use it. But you do have to have a Facebook business page. And this is a good time to just pause. And I want to drop a link in the chat for everyone. And Chris, just remind me and I'll send you the links to these.
Okay.
Well, there's an article here in our answers system called Get Set Up for Success Before Launching a Facebook Ad Campaign.
Oh, okay.
If you have never run an ad campaign, I need you to go through this article. And this article is a little detailed. If you are uncomfortable doing this, I'm more than happy to do this on a one-on-one with you. Just schedule a one-on-one on my calendar and we can sit down and do this together because it can be a little bit intimidating if you've never done it before. And you do need to go through the entire list all the way down to number 8 here to really get your ad set up so that it'll work correctly. And so let me drop this link in the chat. I'm going to put this in here for anybody who needs it on Zoom so that you can get this link. I will also have this link available in the recording notes so that you can see it. The recording will be posted to my YouTube page and it will be in the notes of the page that you can get to this article. And while we're here, I also just want to make a note that often when I'm running these ads, the landing pages I'm using are coming from my KW agent site. And the KW agent sites actually just got a huge update. The Facebook ads, the websites just got a big update where you may or may not have already upgraded your site. If you started with us after, I believe, 2023, then you have already upgraded your site. If you started before that, you may or may not have. And KW has released a whole series of classes that I'm scrolling through here that are all about helping agents convert to the new site and set it up so that they are ready to go. They also released an easier editor. So it's not the super detailed editor that we started with. Just as an example, you'll see if I go into this down here, it's now called websites instead of consumer. But editing my agent site is now really easy. This is the new editor for my agents who might have never gone into their site. But having this set up makes it a little easier to run these ads because you're going to have really nice looking landing pages, especially when it comes to listings like we're talking about today. If you're running a different type of value ad, like possibly like the down payment assistance, and you may want to create a page on your website that describes some of the different down payment options and then gives them the option to say, let's see if you qualify, put your information in right here. And then that's how we collect the lead. And that's great for traffic ads, but it would require a little bit of upfront building of another page so that you have value on the page that you're landing them on. Because a common issue, and Alex, I'm not sure if this is what you might be experiencing, but a common issue is we run a traffic ad and it drives lots of people to a page, but we don't get anybody's information. They're not filling out our forms. And that could be number one, is that there's not enough value on the page for you to incentivize them to say, yes, I'm going to send my information to you. And so you have to decide, am I more interested in driving traffic to my page or do I want people's information? Because the traffic ads will eventually get people to fill them out, but they take much longer timelines. If I'm talking to an agent about a campaign that they want to run traffic ads and increase traffic to their website or to their event, I would tell them that expect about a 6-month timeline before you start seeing a really good flow of leads coming from that ad. That is a long time, but those ads are much more, they're a lot less money to get results from the traffic ads. The lead generating ads, you can start seeing leads drop into your command the day the ad starts. I generally see leads come into my account for about $4 per lead. But again, these are very high funnel leads. High funnel meaning they're pretty high up in the process of wanting to buy a home, where they're generally 9 months on average out from buying that home. So you kind of wrapping this little soapbox talk up is it's going to take time to convert these strategies to business, whether it's getting the leads and following up with them consistently to get them into a position to do business, or if it's running the ads consistently to find people who are lower in the funnel, because when they choose to put their information in, those leads are generally lower in the funnel. They're a little closer to wanting to do business than the 9-month average for a lead coming in that was forced to submit their information through the Facebook lead form. So we want to consider all of these. There's different objectives and the different types of ads that we run. Peter, let me drop that link in the chat right now for you. There you go. That's to sign up for the class. I believe, Peter, that you did upgrade. I think we upgraded your site a couple months ago together. I think so, but I've done it a lot of times, so I may be confusing you with another agent. I apologize if I am. But the easiest way to check, Peter, is if you come into your page and you click on websites down at the bottom over here now. If yours doesn't look like mine, you have not upgraded. If it does look like mine, you've upgraded. And you may just need to do a little easy editing on that page to create, to make it look the way that you would like. And join the class up here. They're going to be going through all of that if you want to see that. And I'm always happy to sit down with you. And the expert mode that we've been editing the web pages for about the last year is still available as expert mode now. And so it's a little bit easier. Well, not even a little bit. It's so much easier to edit your website now that they just released it this morning. It came out, y'all. And so definitely get in there, start poking around a little bit, ask for help. There is a lot of simple stuff that we can do with our websites now, including building these landing pages that can help us run these ads. But you'll see the ad that we're going to run today won't actually use a landing page, but it'll just be sending to a property page. All right, let me get back into my pres. Oh, too far. All right. And we talked about the blue bars. We mentioned the yellow ones, where all the yellow ones that you see, that this yellowish, orangish bar down here, those are all traffic ads. And you can see there's a lot more types of traffic ads we can run: attract sellers, attract buyers, attract agents. And then we have different platforms. So make sure you're paying attention here, because we see attract sellers right over here. This one runs on Facebook and Instagram. We also see attract sellers here, where these two are Google pay-per-click ads. These Google pay-per-click ads are the most differentiated out of this whole list, because these are the keyword type ads where somebody is typing in homes for sale in Greeley, and these are the sponsored links that show up. If you've ever done a Google search and you see those sponsored links show up first, this is how you create those type of ads, are these two right here, but they only run on the Google pay-per-click system. Now, my favorite ones to run for traffic ads are these three down here, where we see attract sellers, but this has Facebook, Instagram, and this weird kind of like A-ish symbol. And that A-ish symbol is still a Google space. That is the Google dynamic ad space. And Google owns a lot of different companies, from YouTube to Google itself. And if you've ever seen those ads show up on the right side of the screen, not the ones in the YouTube videos, but on the right side of the YouTube screen, those are the Google dynamic ad space. That's where those ads are running to. And so this puts in one additional platform. And again, you don't have to have anything special to do this. That's the power of Command, is you don't have to have a TikTok to run the TikTok ad. The only thing you have to run any of these ads is a Facebook business page outside of the Google pages here. These ones do not require that. But all the rest of the ads we have available, any of the blueprints, you just have to have a Facebook business page. That's it. And I guess TikTok does not require any type of account at all. From Facebook to TikTok itself, you do not need those for TikTok. But with TikTok, you have to use a video. There is no pictures you can use on TikTok. And I personally have not run any TikTok ads yet. But I am hearing that agents are starting to figure it out. TikTok just released their ad platform earlier this year. It's a very new space to run ads. And so maybe something you want to engage with, especially if you use TikTok to build your business already. This could be a very good tool for you. All right. Any questions about any of the blueprints you see here? All right. In that case, let's build an ad in Command. And if you'd like to follow along, please do. You can absolutely follow along with me. We're going to be building a traffic ad, just like I mentioned at the beginning of the class, where these are the ads that are going straight to the landing page. They are not submitting their information. These are the ads that I recommend running for a longer period of time. And we'll talk a little bit about why that is while we build the ad. And so let's get out of here and jump in to my KW command page. And we're going to come right over to the campaign section. That's the little megaphone to the left. And if you're watching the recording, don't be afraid to pause the recording when you need to, finish a step in your command, then come back to the recording as we move through this. And so once we are in here, we're going to click on paid ads at the top of the screen, and then going to quick start right after that. And this is going to open up the new ad builder. It's not so new anymore. It's been around for a while, but we had an older version that was not nearly as good as this. And you see right in here, those are all the different ad types, ad blueprints that we've been discussing. A couple of good pieces to just check is clicking on your assets over on the left side and going to your Facebook pages. This will show you the different pages you have connected and have the ability to run ads on. If you don't see anything in here, you're just going to see an ad Facebook page, which another shout out for this article. Make sure to go through this article before you even try and add your Facebook page, because there's a chance that it won't work if you have not gone through some of the initial steps on the Facebook side of things to get your account ready to go. And if you've never run an ad in Facebook ever at all on your business page, you definitely need to get in here and update your back into your Facebook, because there were some updates that happened on Facebook earlier this year that force you to create a Meta Business Suite page, which is not public. It's just so that you can run your business through the Facebook business page. And there's some just specifics in there that they require. There's specifics like you have to have two-factor authentication on your Facebook account, your personal account, to be able to run an ad. And this goes through all of those different things to make sure that you're set up successfully. So use that link, sit down with me if you're having any trouble. I've now done it dozens and dozens of times with agents, and we can get you squared away in a 30-minute one-on-one. So we're going to go back to programs now. Oh, sorry, not programs, dashboard. Programs is where you go to see your currently running ads or previously ran ads. We'll go to the dashboard, and we are looking for traffic ads. And I like to make it easy on myself so I don't make a mistake. And I just click on the generate traffic ad filter. So now I only see the yellow bar ads, and I just see the traffic ads that we're going to be building. And in this case, we are going to be posting up a listing and utilizing the audience pain point and solution structure for our ad. And we're just going to be going through and building one that you saw from before. And we'll be even adding in a listing from one of our agents here at the Keller Williams downtown office. I will not be actually running this ad, so I have not gotten his permission, but another shout out, get permission before you run an ad on another agent's listing. If it is your listing, the only person you need to check with is your seller. And if they sign the listing agreement the way it is included that you can do this in your listing agreement. It is only in the case when the seller tells you, do not do this. If they specifically tell you, don't put my home on Facebook. Okay, cool. Then don't run a Facebook ad on that home. You can get in big trouble for that. And so just make sure you're communicating that with the seller if they have any type of hesitations around that when you sign your listing agreement. Make sure they understand that this could be happening. And the reason it is what I normally explain to my sellers is this is how we put another 10,000 eyeballs on their listing. Because for about $100, I will get about I will get about 10,000 views on this ad. That's usually the ratio on a traffic ad, is about every $10 I spend will get me about 1,000 views. That generally is going to get me around 20 to 50 clicks, depending on how well you wrote your ad, what the picture or video looks like. All of those pieces of the ad will really determine the success of the ad, whether you're getting 25 clicks per 1,000 or 50 clicks per 1,000. And in the chat, you see that our agent Megan Kemp is in here saying that she has some listings that you are welcome to run some ads on. Again, if you are going to do that through Megan, contact her directly. Even if it's just through email to get a confirmation, it may be hard for you to come back and grab this message text from Zoom today. So be on top of that. Make sure you get your permissions. And so we're going to do an attract. We're going to come over here to the Facebook, Instagram, and Google space here. And we're going to choose attract buyers/sellers, or we can choose listings. Let's choose listings. And here, this is your first bit of targeting. That this is telling the Facebook and ads AI, the artificial intelligence that determines who sees the ad, it's starting to tell them what you are trying to attract. And if I'm trying to promote my listing and drive traffic to that listing, especially if it's stuck on the market, I'm going to use a listing ad. And with a listing ad, the first step we're going to do is we're going to add in the listing. And that makes things a lot easier because this is all connected to the MLS. And since Megan dropped one in the chat, I'm just going to use one of her listings, and we'll use 990 East Dogwood. And so I'm going to click on please add your listing, and I'll come over here to the filters menu, click on it, and you can see it defaults to street address, contains, and then I can put in my address and then just give it a moment to search. Now, one update that they did put in here is we can only run ads on KW listed properties, not just our market center or a single market center, any KW, but only KW ads or only KW listed properties right now. So you can see after it thought about it, oh, lost my filter, darn it. Let's see, it normally does take this long, so be patient on this screen. It always takes a little bit of time because it is searching the entire nation's MLS systems, not just ours. And so you can see it does take a little bit of time to think through this piece. Come on, there we go. And we can select this one. I usually just make sure it says active right here, because if there's a sold listing that it matches this address in the MLS, it could pull up the sold listing too. And so just make sure it's the active one. I usually will check the listing agent, make sure that matches. We see, yep, it's Megan Kemp. And a lot of the other information I don't utilize. I'm just checking the listing status and the listing agent. And once I have the correct one, I'll just hit select. You'll see that that will then grab the listing. It will grab the photos from the listing. You see over on the right side of the screen, the preview's updated already over here. And then the next step is to set up our targeting. Targeting your listing with a geographic area is going to first default to the listing location. So it's just going to take the address of where we're at, and it's going to build a circle around that listing with a 15-mile radius. That is the smallest we are legally allowed to market to. We can bump that all the way up to 50 miles. I recommend going smaller. I generally don't go over 25 miles in the ads that I run. If you look at a map, a 25-mile radius from the center of the Denver metro area includes the entire metro area, gets you a little bit west into just the edge of the foothills, gets you a little bit north of the metro area up to about 140th, and then it goes a little bit south of the metro area as well, to just give you kind of an idea. But I really like to focus my ads in 15 miles and just keep it real tight there. Peter asked the radius of a rural listing. It just depends. Peter, I would be using a map. I think I usually just put into Google radius map, and there are a couple of websites where you can draw a circle around a town and see how large that radius is, where it's encompassing, so that you can see, are you hitting the small towns outside of that rural area? My initial instinct here would be go bigger on a rural listing, because you're just not going to have the population of people in a smaller area. When I'm in the city at 15 miles, I still have an audience of over 1 million people in most of the metro area. But if it's rural, I might go bigger to just include more people in the surrounding areas. Now, a quick note is on these ads, you can include people in your database. This is a really cool feature, but note, it says to create, here, let's zoom that in because I can't read that little text. To create a successful database audience, at least 100 of your selected contacts must have a primary email or phone for the Facebook or Instagram to target, which what that means is if you have 100 people, it's going to take those people and look at their email address and see if they have a Facebook account connected to it. If they do, they get included. If they don't, they're not included. But you have to have at least 100 people to include, which generally I've found that I need to have about 500 people in my database to actually get the 100 that will actually be connected, because not all the emails I have are the emails that my clients or my contacts have their social media connected to. And so you have to be aware of that. It's okay if you do try and load in your database and you think you have enough. The trick here is you have to have enough people in one tag to be able to do this. And so the one that I use is generally my Facebook lead tag, because I have over 300 leads from Facebook that I've collected in the past that I can retarget through this right here. And so I'll come in here and select Facebook leads. I have over 300, and those all came from Facebook. So I also know that those people, definitely the email I have is the one connected to their Facebook. So this is a way we can retarget. And if I don't have enough people in my list, it still just runs it to the geographic area. It doesn't stop your ad from running. So super handy, great for retargeting, great for, doing other types of marketing for your business, where this could be as simple as doing a non-listing ad and maybe promoting a testimonial video or something like that to your database, to the people you already know, to just get in front of those people more in a different way. That's not email, text, phone call, direct mail. We might be able to hit their social media too with an ad as well. So think about that, include my database. We can talk more about that one-on-one as well. Then now the last little step in here, last two steps, sorry, is going to be the text of our ad, our body text, our headline, our description, and the image that we are including. You also have a business name down here, and you'll notice on the screen, let me just zoom in a little bit for everybody. You'll notice in here there are some merge tags that, even though in the preview on this side says ready for a new home, check out this number of beds, number of baths. But when we jump over to the preview, you'll see that it drops in the information from the listing. Check out this 5-4 home in Centennial. Now, it doesn't work all the time the way I want it to, so I generally write my own, and I'm using ChatGPT most often to build out these pieces here. And just like I mentioned at the beginning of the class, this is what I did to build out these three. And so we can use, since we're running a little low on time, I'm not going to put all the text in, but I think you all can figure that piece out, where what I want you to notice here is there is a limit, 255 characters for the headline, 30 character limit for the description, 90 character limit. That's usually the part I struggle with the most, is just making sure it fits into the character limits. But if you are using an AI like Claude, like Gemini, like ChatGPT, all of those, you can instruct it to keep it under those different character counts. So it'll help you do that. And you'll also notice that there's this little wand in here, which is the AI built into Command, where I can come in here and say, suggest with AI, and then it will redo all of my text here for me. So really nice little addition. There is styles. You can say, well, make it more vibrant. And now we have a nice vibrant text, and we'll just hit apply for that in terms of time. And we'll do that for these other ones too. Suggest with AI, studying modern home. The AI does not follow the instructions that I gave you all earlier. So you be careful with using it. You want to stick to that audience. And that's why I generally go into my own chat GPT, because I can tell it my audience is veterans. I am trying to solve the pain point of understanding their VA benefits. Their solution is clicking through to connect with me. Click here to learn more. And I tell that to my AI system so that it can write my headlines directly to that. And I'll instruct my AI to do so. But this is the part where you're going to learn how this works best for you. Rule of thumb is usually shorter is better. Keep it brief and have a call to action. Be clear. Click to see inside. Click to see more. Click to see seller incentives. All of those different pieces, we want to instruct them. And I find that click to see inside works really well. If you're not using a picture like we have now, we don't want to show them a picture of inside and tell them to see inside. That is for seeing, or that is to attract people where you have the outside of a house. And usually with listings like this, if the outside of the house isn't pretty, you may need to find another one. Let me see if I can. Oh, this house is so nice. So yeah, now I would use a see inside type of call to action here with the outside of this home. Great picture there, Megan. Great work for your photographer. Now, the last piece is we need to set where they're going to go. And I told y'all we're going to use my website to land these people. And we're not going to create a page. We're just going to use a pre-built page for this listing. So what I'm going to do is open a new tab and I'll go to my KW website. Mine is just go to listio.kw.com. And then I'm going to search for that same listing, 990 East Dogwood. Come on. There we go. And a little trick in here, you'll notice that there's more than one East Dogwood that's coming up. We have two, but this one says sold in December 23, and this one has a little blue dot on it. Look for the listings that have the blue dot. That is telling you that that is an active listing, and that's what we want. So we'll click on that. And then this is our landing page, y'all. And this is why, like, let me show you why I love it. Because as they scroll down, you'll notice that my little face floats over there on the right side of the screen. It has all the information the MLS has, plus more. It has a mortgage calculator. It has connections to home loans, to home insurance, price and tax history, similar properties around there, nearby properties in that area. All of that is in there to keep people on your site. Keep people clicking around on your site. Because remember, the main objective here is to drive traffic to this site where maybe if we have a really great landing page, we might get about 1 or 2 people per 1,000 people that are going to click on contact Steven or contact you and submit their information, because this is the only way I'm going to get their information in these ads, which is not what my goal is for this ad. If I wanted to talk to people, if I want people to fill out a form, I'll use one of those Facebook lead gen formats that you saw earlier. But if I'm just trying to get more eyeballs, more people engaged with this listing, I'm going to run one of these traffic ads, and that's what we're doing today. And so all we have to do is come up to the top here and grab this URL. So I'm just going to right click and copy that URL and jump back over to my campaign and delete that HTTPS stuff that's in there. So I can then right click and paste. Oh, missed the paste. Right click and paste my link that I just copied. Oh, don't want to do that. There we go. And I can click preview URL. I usually do just to make sure that the link that I copied is the one I want. You see it jumps right to our page. And so we are good there. And then our last step is compliance. By default, you'll see down over here, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little KW emblem, my DBA logo, and also each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated text. That gets added in there by default. You can also hit custom and put in your own picture, but this has to be your DBA logo. This cannot be your business logo here. It has to be your brokerage logo. So I just keep mine as the default because it's already loaded in. It's all good. And you can do the same. And then we'll take a look at the preview before we wrap the ad up. But right over here, we see that there's we're looking at the Facebook and Instagram preview, but we can also see what it looks like in the Google space too, so that we can see just making sure it looks the way we want. And then last step is to proceed to the last step. Oh, we have an error. What error did we cause? Am I too long on one of these? Let me just take that out, make sure. Good there, good there. All right, now we're on the last step where the first thing you're going to choose is how long does this ad run? So you choose the start date. We'll start this ad today. We'll choose the end date. I recommend on traffic ads no shorter than 10 days, ideally 30 days, and run your ads on a monthly round of letting that ad just continue to run. And I can select that. You'll see down here, we will then set our budget, which you can just put in the number, how much money you want to spend. If I want to run this ad this long, I can't have such a low spend. I need to go up to a little bit more. We can even just hit this slider until it turns green. My recommendation is to run your ads at no less than $5 a day. I find that's where I get the most success in either type of ads. But if you don't want to spend $185, shorten up the length of the ad. We come in here, now we're at $12 a day. And if we drop it down, we can get to like $100, which is where I suggest for most agents to start is in between $50 and $100. Run it for 10 days minimum. And then you'll see down here, your credit cards will save in your account when you add them in. You'll select the one you want to utilize. And then you just hit purchase now. And that's it. That is how we build a traffic ad. I'll tell y'all, when you do this, you're going to get good at it. You'll get used to the process of building these out, and it won't take you longer than 15 minutes to build these ads even on your own. I promise that these work really easily for you. And these are things that are going to put your brand and your business in front of more people. That is the point of these traffic ads. So when you have a listing that might be stagnant, don't think that it's a terrible thing. This will help your seller understand you are doing your best to get this listing out to more people. Because when I can come in and say, take a look at this ad, we've shown it to 12,000 people and 600 people have clicked and seen the landing page and have gone to the page to check out the home. But if like that may increase showings, that may increase traffic to your open house. Again, the better the ad, the more people you can get it in front of, the better it's going to do, the more opportunity you're going to have. And at the very least, even if you don't get anybody's information, it's okay. You are branding your business. You're letting hundreds, if not thousands of people see your brand. And when you do your next ad, all those people that clicked, Facebook is going to retarget those people. So you think if you're doing one of these a month, every time somebody even just taps it, goes to the page, even if they leave right away, the next ad you run, Facebook tracks all that and is going to show them that ad again. And then it's going to start showing up in their stories. And then it'll show up in their stories pretty much every day. They'll see that ad again and it will retarget for you. So this is why it's a long term, because you can imagine somebody high up in that funnel is going to say, well, maybe I'll just check it out. And then a month later, they might check out another one. Then a month later, another one. Then a month later, another one. But this one, they're like, oh my God, it's right next to my work. I'm going to fill out the form, and then they get the information. That's why this is a long-term goal or a long-term campaign when we're running traffic ads, where I want y'all to think long-term. It's great if you just want to drive traffic or just, sometimes I've seen agents do this just so that they can tell their seller, hey, I've put a lot more eyeballs on this page through our marketing, which is very beneficial. If you can walk into a listing appointment and say, we're going to show this to 10,000 more people than most agents will, because of these ads. And for $100, you can usually get about 10,000 views. So it is valuable, even if it is just to the seller's mentality of you saying, I'm doing all that I can. I'm door knocking the neighborhood. I'm running an open house. I'm running ads to over 10,000 people in our area to promote your listing. And so utilize this as a tool in your listing agreements. This is a tool for us in real estate that is inexpensive and effective in a way that y'all can increase the value of your listings that are sitting on the market or increase the value of your brand to other people. That is all I had for y'all today. We are at 3 o'clock. Thank you all for being here today. If you're watching the video here in the future after the recording, connect with me. You'll see the links in the bottom of the page. You'll see links for other videos as well. Connect with me. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Peter. Have a great day, y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon. Let me know if y'all have any questions. Send me an email. get connected with me, get on my schedule, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, y'all.